Next up, we're going to learn about the structures energized by the heart center. Turn to the pages in your manual for the heart center as designated on your assignment sheet. The endocrine gland of the heart center is the thymus gland, which is pretty important for the immune system. It's located just above the heart, behind the sternum or breastbone, and between the lungs. To me, it looks like a puffy letter H made of mini marshmallows. What is better to warm the heart than mini marshmallows, right? We just need some hot cocoa. The thymus is a vital part of our immune system. It's a lymphatic organ and an endocrine organ. It produces thymosin, which stimulates production of T cells that fight off disease. Lymphocytes, called immature T cells, travel in the bloodstream to the thymus, and it's there that these cells mature into specialized T cells. When the T cells are mature, then they're taken to the bloodstream to wherever the body needs them to fight off an infection. So the thymus essentially trains the T cells and sends them back out to the bloodstream to do their work of fighting off infection. The thymus also has a role in protecting the body from autoimmunity, when the body turns against itself. The thymus gland functions primarily in children and adolescents. It slows down in adulthood and usually stops working about around the age 50 to 60. Over time, it atrophies and it's replaced by fat. But its effect in training those T lymphocytes to fight infections and even cancer lasts for a lifetime. So it's actually quite interesting that the atrophy of the thymus around 50 to 60 is actually a trigger for the deterioration of the immune system with age, which increases your risk of infection. Some studies are looking at methods to delay the atrophy of the thymus with hopes of slowing the aging process. So, after this class, we're all going to start balancing our thymus every day, right? Ha ha ha. So, metaphysically, the thymus is about joy in life, spiritual growth. It's interesting how there are certain structures that in the anatomy books and teachings say that they stop working as we age, such as the thymus gland. Another one is the pineal gland. I learned in an anatomy class that the pineal calcifies and really has no function. I also learned that the cranial bones fuse as a young child. None of these are true. Someday medicine will look at the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of our bodies and organs. But we're not quite there yet, are we? As I said, metaphysically, the thymus gland is about living a fulfilled life that's full of joy. When we live in joy, we live longer, healthier lives. It's common if someone suffers a huge loss, whether it's a loss of a job, someone died, the end of a relationship, whatever the loss is, the immune system drops with those losses and a person will get sick. Isn't that interesting? The heart center has a huge responsibility. It energizes the heart organ, then the circulation of the blood, all the muscles of the body, including the diaphragm. It covers the breasts for the female and male. It covers our immune system and also the lower lobes of the lungs. When we have issues with the heart, we can see disorders of the heart organ itself. And that can be associated with issues with love and security, joy, long-standing emotional issues. And affirmation can be, I lovingly allow joy to flow through my mind and body. In the heart, there are valves between the different chambers of the heart, and those valves often reflect emotional and mental blocks. We can see issues with the arteries and veins of the heart and of the extremities and head, and that can have to do with the giving and receiving of love. We can see disorders of the thymus, the master gland of the heart, and this can have to do with enjoyment of life, feeling attacked by life, feeling like people are out to get you. We can see lower lung issues, and this often has to do with deep grief. You can see issues in the diaphragm, and that can have to do with chronic stress and anxiety. We see issues of the immune system, allergies, and blood pressure issues. We'll start by looking at the heart organ. The heart is an organ that pumps blood through the circulatory system. So blood comes into the right side of the heart, your right. It then pumps blood to the lungs. So it comes in here, and then it pumps blood out to the lungs where it picks up oxygen. The blood then comes back into the heart through the left side. Goes through to the bottom of the heart here, and then it's pumped through out the left ventricle here, makes a big pump outward, and sends all the oxygen-rich blood to all the tissues of your body, your tissues, your brain, your muscles, and then after it gives away all of its oxygen to all the tissues, then it comes back into the heart to pick up some more. And that repeats with every heartbeat. So we'll do some more in-depth anatomy of the heart in level 2 of esoteric healing. But just kind of know that it comes into the right side of the heart, into the bottom of the right side. It gets pumped out to the lungs to pick up oxygen, comes back into the heart where it's then pumped out, a big push, pumps that blood out to take oxygen out to all of the tissues. And then once it's depleted, it comes back and does it again. And this shows the heart with the rest of the circulatory system. After the blood picks up oxygen from the lungs, it's pumped away from the heart in arteries to the tissues. So arteries go away from the heart. AA, it's that mnemonic, arteries away from the heart. Oxygen-rich arteries are red. Then in the tissues, there are capillaries, which give the oxygen to the tissues. The depleted blood then comes back to the heart through veins. They have no oxygen, so they're blue, depleted. Our tissues need oxygen to live. So arteries flow away from the heart, veins flow towards the heart. This is another way of looking at the circulation process. So here's the blood comes into the right side of the heart, in the right atrium. It then goes into the right ventricle, and it gets pumped out to the lungs. And here it's going to pick up oxygen. So we breathe, these are the lungs, so we breathe in that oxygen. It goes through what's called little alveoli, where it then transfers the oxygen, transfers into the bloodstream. So coming out of the lungs, it's oxygen-rich blood. That's why, so it shows it in red. So these are pulmonary veins. It's going to go back to the heart, into the left atrium, and then into the left ventricle, where it makes a big pump, whoosh, and it's pumped out of the heart to the body and all of the tissues throughout the body. So once the tissues use up all the oxygen, then the blood travels back towards the heart. It actually has carbon dioxide in it, carbon dioxide rich blood. So then it travels back to the heart and it runs back here to pick up more oxygen. So then it's sent back to the lungs, back to the heart, pumped out to the body, and that process just keeps continuing. And this concludes your lesson about the structures energized by the heart center. Watch this video as many times as needed till you feel like you have a good understanding of the heart center structures. I'll see you in the next video.